welcome back.
Thanks.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
So, last time you were in, we chatted about you grocery shopping for your family and just sort of the struggles that you run into when you're grocery shopping between wanting to please them and choose foods that they'll enjoy and eat, and then also trying to actually grocery shop with nourishing them in mind and how that can kind of immobilize you.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, I really want to thank you for opening up and sharing all of that with me. And today, if it's all right with you, I would love to sort of brainstorm some end goals with you and just what, if in a perfect world, what it would look like if you weren't feeling like that at the grocery store. So if that's okay with you, I'm just going to ask you a few questions, give you a few prompts, and we can brainstorm together, and I might take a few notes along the way if that's all right.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. So let's start with the big picture. Ideally, in a perfect world, like I said, what would it look like to make this whole stressful situation disappear?
Oh, let's see. It would look like, well, it would be less stressful. So I would be able to go to the grocery store in a reasonable amount of time and not have to plan on several hours to go grocery shopping, which is kind of what I have to do now, which also in itself is slightly immobilizing because even if I have an hour and a half, I still don't go to the grocery store because I think it's going to take, that's going to take me way longer, so I don't have time because I get so stressed out when I'm at the grocery store. So in an ideal world, I would be able to go to the grocery store in an hour and shop for my family, and the items that I purchase, I will feel good about buying and bringing home. My family won't give me a hard time about the stuff that I buy and bring home. And I think that's probably most of it, is just feeling confident and being able to get in and out and not be stressed and make grocery shopping fun again. I do enjoy grocery shopping. I like going in there and seeing new products and things, or finding new ways of cooking things and whatnot, but I even right now get so focused on what to buy that I kind of lose some of the creativity with choosing food and cooking. So by not being stressed, I would be able to find that back and find more enjoyment in grocery shopping and cooking and time saving. So
Gotcha. So, let's focus on the idea of it being fun, ideally, again. And you mentioned, looking at new products and cooking new things. Walk me through that. What would that look like? Is there anything you feel like you're missing out on, or that you wish you were ideally getting that wouldn't be a stressful thing to get?
Well, there's things, just like beets. I never liked beets for a very large part of my life. Didn't care for them, but I've kind of grown to like them. And so now I see beets at the store and think, I wonder what, I could roast these or do something else with them. But instead I stare at them for 10 minutes thinking what I could do, but then realizing that nobody in my house will eat it. So now I'm wasting money by buying them and trying to do something different. So then I walk away, but I've already invested time just looking at them and thinking, I could do this, this, and this, but then find myself getting frustrated and then leaving because realizing that I'm not going to eat a ton of beets for myself. I don't want to do all the work to prepare a bunch of beets for myself and not everybody else. So then I leave and pick something else. So, so ideally that would not be the case. I could look at the beets and say, it would be fun to try roasting them with some different seasonings or whatnot, and then just put them in my cart and go. That would be, I know, not fun for everyone, but it's kind of fun for me to choose new foods and things and just try to play with it a little bit and do something. So that for me is fun, and that's kind of why I like grocery shopping.
Gotcha. What else is ideal to you to pick up in the grocery store that you're not?
A lot of it's produce, honestly, just because I do actually enjoy eating produce. Not so much the family, so there's only select portions. So produce is where I get stuck at the longest, probably. But as I go through the store, even sometimes like seafood, I will go and think, oh, I could try this and do something different. That would be fun. And then the same thing happens. Well, this one doesn't like to eat whitefish. This one doesn't eat shrimp. So then I get back in that, well, looks like the only thing we can get is salmon. So there it is again. Even, and I've lost the creativity in that. So I would like to be able to do the same thing and just look at things and say, oh, I can have beets and fish and not be stressed out about cooking it.
Gotcha. So I keep hearing creativity.
Yes.
So that's what you would like to see ideally.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to see your family react ideally? What would that look like at mealtime, at preparation time? Walk me through ideal reactions.
So if I was to go to a store and choose some different kinds of cheeses are another thing that I think, oh, that'd be fun to try a different kind, but I know cheese can be kind of expensive, so especially that, I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money on it, and then it sits in the fridge and nobody eats it. So ideally, I'd like to buy a different kind of cheese and whatnot, bring it home and have somebody say, oh, wow, what's that? And what are we going to do with it? And maybe even, just seem more open-minded about things, so that, because the negativity tends to start just from when they're if they're helping unpack groceries and they see, oh, what is that? And, okay, well, what are you going to do with it? And it's kind of in a negative connotation. So ideally at grocery unpacking time, they would just see something and not be so negative, would be nice. And this same at mealtime, not question, well, why is this in this, why do you have this cheese in here instead of cheddar? Well, and then stare at it for a while. So initially they'd say, at least maybe even try it and say, oh, well, this has turned out pretty good. Or even if they didn't like it, to just say, oh, that's not my, but it's fun to try something new, and thanks, Mom, for trying something new, instead of like, well, that's gross, what else is there to eat? And potentially even, taking some of the things that I do buy and cooking for themselves, making something themselves with it, so they can kind of experiment and maybe broaden their palates a little bit, I would like to see that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So broadening palates, less negativity, being open-minded and grateful. Deep down, do you wish they'd love it?
I do. Yeah, I wish that one day they'd say, wow, yeah, this is really awesome. And for them to kind of just open their minds to trying more new things, or different ways of preparing things maybe that they've had for a long time that they're used to, but they're always done in the same way. So, yeah, so I would love it if somebody just said, oh, I love this. Can we start getting this more often? That would be nice to see.
Gotcha. Awesome, good job. So I would like to kind of shift a little, and you did mention time, and I feel that time would be an ideal factor of how long you are spending, but you'd like to be confident in getting it down to an hour and having shopping be quick. So walk me through what it would look like just in a week. So starting with a week of how much time you would be spending ideally, and just remember, no, we're just brainstorming, so it can be ideal as you want it to be.
Okay. So I usually have to go to Costco, and then I go to Safeway typically. And, well, as we all know, Costco's never a quick trip, but it shouldn't take 3 hours. So I would like to get through Costco in an hour, and even get through Safeway in an hour. Because also when I'm kind of creating in my mind as I'm going, it does take me I'm not just running through the grocery store. But an hour at each place would be reasonable for me to do once a week, and do a week's worth of grocery shopping. So like 2 hours a week I would feel pretty comfortable with. And just going through there and, getting the staple things which I do already. I do that part where I go through and get our staple items. and it seems to be, and that's quick, and I don't think much of it. But we're getting some of the new things. So maybe even bringing my husband or my daughter with me so they could kind of just see what it's all, not that they haven't gone to the grocery store obviously, but more just looking at it from a different creative standpoint. So going through and saying, what do you think we could do with this, instead of like, well, I don't know, and then everybody's in a hurry and wants to leave. So I think I digressed, but
No,
I
no,
feel like
no, not
an hour
digressing.
at each store, possibly with somebody from the house to come with me, and
So
and
company would be part
company,
of it,
yes.
ideally.
positive company to help
And
me.
input is
Yes.
what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that would be ideal to me, yes.
Gotcha. Well, I would love to also brainstorm about meal times, but unfortunately, Annette, we are out of time today.
Okay.
And I